Today, let's take a look at 5 different ways on how you can start an AI agency. And whether you're watching this video right now, today I'm uploading the video, 3 months from now, or even a year from now, trust me, you are still very, very early to the AI game. Now, that doesn't mean that you should just sit on the fence and watch everything happen. Because trust me, the moment this becomes mainstream, and by mainstream, I mean not like hearing about it, but like seeing AI solutions being deployed at scale, mass solutions, then, my friend, it's already too late. So let's take a look at it. 5 different ways, all in size, no fluff, just pure value. So let's go for it. And here are the 5 most important ways on how you can start an AI agency. But I want to show you how you can tie them to the different areas and build custom or valuable high-ticket solutions and then sell them. Okay? So, but before we go through this chart, let's first go through a couple of principles. And one principle, very easy to understand, is agency. What is an agency? Because everyone is talking about AI agency, AI different things. So let's understand what is an agency and AI first. An agency, all it is a business that provides specialized solutions and acts as an expert or as a middleman to help clients achieve their goals. Okay? That's it. That's all an agency is. Whether you are a solopreneur, whether you have a team of 500 employees, it doesn't matter. Okay? An agency, all it is someone that, or something, a business that specializes in providing specific services. Now, what is AI? And this is a more complex question. There are so many different variations, but just to dumb it down, AI is a technology that enables machines to simulate human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. Okay, so what is an AI agency? All it is a business that provides specialized services around AI. Okay, so AI-driven solutions. And one thing to break down, the first step is the core business functions. Okay, and what are business functions? Every single business, whether it's a very, very small one, whether it's a corporate enterprise level of a company, they all have different departments. Sometimes they are run by the same person, but with bigger businesses, the bigger it is, the more departments you'll have. And you have marketing and sales, customer support or customer service, human resources, finance and accounting, operations, so on and so forth. There are a couple more, but usually these are the core 5 ones. Okay. And why should you care? Because if you are a beginner, the last thing you want to do is go and try to solve all problems at once. Okay. You want to first, instead of focusing on a niche specific solution, which you can also focus on a core business function. So instead of niching down only on market or industry, you can also niche down on core business function, positioning you as an expert, again, providing specialized solutions for, let's say, marketing and sales, which usually it's called client acquisition, and for a specific industry. Cool. Awesome. And we'll get into this in a second. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to smash the subscribe button. And number 2, find the problem that suffers from inefficiency. Okay. Why is this important? With AI, a lot of people believe that AI is a solution. But no, actually, AI is just the tool that will lead to the solution. Okay. So don't think that just by stamping AI to an offer, that is automatically a solution. No, it isn't. It's what AI can do as a solution, right? And I will dive into this in a second, especially once we start going to the 5 different ways. Now, then I want you to pick a vehicle. And these are the 5 ways that I listed here today. We'll go through them. So voice AI, text AI, content AI, automation, and AI-driven data. And 4th, this is when things start to become interesting, which is once you nailed this first section, which way you want to leverage to start an AI agency, then we look at okay, how can you position yourself? How can you build an offer? And how can you launch a funnel to get attention and convert them into paying clients? So, 5 different ways. First of all, let's start with voice AI, which by far is my favorite one. It's still the new kid on the block, so it's something fairly recent, at least more recent than text AI. And the reason why I like it so much is because it automatically combines text AI, content AI, automation, and data all in one. And I'm going to show you how you can, for example, create a custom solution for a core business function like client acquisition. The last thing, for God's sake, the last thing that you want to do is sell services. If you're not making like more than 6 figures a year, more than 10K a month, forget about services. You won't sell infrastructures. All right. And when we look at client acquisition, there are different phases to it. I will give you the example on how you can do it with voice AI for client acquisition. And as I said, you want to make sure that one, the problem that you solve is high volume or high value. Okay? Remember, high volume or high value. Let me actually write it down. Solution or solves a high volume or high value problem. Why? Because otherwise it defeats the purpose of AI. AI is to make processes or protocols more efficient, activities more efficient, and if the efficiency level you'll achieve once you implement this is very low, there's no point on implementing it. Okay, so with client acquisition, usually what people want is go from stranger, so cold, stranger, all the way to customer. Okay. Now, there are a couple of different touch points in the middle. This is one of the biggest problems with client acquisition in general, which is just to get the client. But then you have different sub problems in between. One, you have lead generation. Then you have appointment setting. Then you have sales. And let me just label them here. So, generation. Then if you sales calls. Example, here you have appointment booking. And then you might have here, when you go into sales, you might even have something else, which is talent, right? This is regarding HR, but most important around sales. How can you train sales reps? This alone, like there are so many different subsections of each one of them. Now, depending on the industry, you want to pick one industry and one solution and sell it as an infrastructure. What is the difference? The difference is that you want to have a fixed solution that you then add talent to, you deploy it to the client's business, and then rinse and repeat. Okay, very easy. So, going back to the drawing board, how could you sell voice AI as an infrastructure? One thing you could do is first, you can reactivate cold leads or reactivate database. It's called database reactivation. So base reactivation. Pretty much all it is you'll have voice AI, an AI agent, reaching out to all the old leads. You can segment the leads into different high value segments and then launch different campaigns, right? 2, what can you do? You can automate appointment booking, whether it's for warm leads, cold leads, you name it, right? You can automate. This would be more for customer service, but if it's insurance, it also applies. Automate live transfers. What else? When someone doesn't show up, you can do no show reactivation or Exactly. Or it cancels all the calls that get canceled. You can reactivate them again. Now you can do also churn list reactivation or churn list feedback collection. So whenever someone churns, get the feedback and understand why they churned, and perhaps try to upsell them. Talk about upsells. Automate upsells after X time. So there are so many different areas on how you can even add here appointment reminders or confirmations, right? Triage calls. And probably the most important one, sales freaking calls. So you can even automate sales calls. Okay, you can have AI taking the calls for you and process the payments. Yeah, nuts. So this is just one example. Now, how do you sell voice AI as an infrastructure? First of all, you want to map out based on the client's industry and based on the core business function they are trying to help or make more efficient. Map out all the different areas on how you can apply that specific vehicle. Okay. Of course, that later down the road, once you become an expert, you can start bundling more together. But trust me, if you focus on one alone, that's more than enough to get you very, very far. So these are all different touch points, and there are so many more. Sky is the limit when it comes to how many things you can put in place. But you can see how much time and money you are saving and making to the business. Example here, if you automate appointment booking alone, this alone, which is what people call voice AI dialers, if you get them from 10% booking to 20%, that can sound like a 10% increase, but imagine what it will do on the back end. How many closes? If they are closing, for example, at 25%, that means you're just doubling pretty much almost the revenue because you're getting twice as many people in, right? So this is a 2x, and there are so many different touch points. If you sum these all together, you can pretty much very simply help a business, depending on the business, generate 100,000, a million, 10 million more dollars per year in revenue just by implementing and streamlining a solution like this. I hope this was helpful. Now, use the same framework for customer support. So anything customer support, front desk, it's less valuable because it's based on time saving. It's on time saving and money saving, but it also improves efficiency in how the business presents themselves and how quickly they solve a problem, right? And HR and recruiting. For me, HR and recruiting is exactly the same thing as client acquisition, but with talent. Okay, so it works exactly the same way. Now, text AI. What are some of the options you have? Again, with text AI, if you're talking about, let's say, customer support, now just to change a little bit, customer support, usually you have different touch points again. First, when people come in with a problem, then how they escalate the problem, whether you should escalate to different departments or to different people, right? Here is where you can, with text, help them troubleshoot. But if you link this, and by the way, it's the same with voice AI, to a database, right? A database with records, instead of just having a standard chatbot that anyone can sell, you can actually create a chatbot or a text sending infrastructure that should be email enabled, should be SMS enabled, should be social DM enabled, so it can work on all different platforms, and should be able to look up records, databases, get the information, then provide with a solution. If they don't find a solution, then send them to the right department and send summarized information right away, or trigger different actions based on the data. And you probably are seeing a pattern here, which is I'm mentioning the word data a couple times. This will make all sense because AI, it's all about data. That's what it is. Now, content AI. This is probably one of the most impressive but complex solutions, which is how can you build a content infrastructure that spits out the end product, which is the content itself. Because you can, of course, go to ChatGPT and get like all an SEO and all that stuff, and you can create some different images, but that's not the point. The one point is how can you create something like content AI, a content AI infrastructure that will look up in that industry specific space what are the most viral pieces of content on a specific platform. How can you recreate them, giving it your own spin, using AI to produce the content, whether it's still or even a video, post it, collect feedback, so analyzing the data, and report back. So this is just an example on how you can build a content AI infrastructure. And of course, if you want all the details, make sure to click the link below. You can join our free AI Agency Academy. And this is where we host weekly calls to give more content and more insights to everyone. Now, I hope this gives you a good high-level view of how you can apply content. And now you think, oh, but what you showed me is content in general. Correct. Now, if you make content specific or core business function content specific, meaning you make content to help with customer support. How? Imagine you can create, based on the company's SOPs, you can write, for example, support guides with videos attached to it, all AI driven, just by looping them to an AI content infrastructure for client acquisition. Same thing, but promoting the business. For HR, it's exactly the same as client acquisition, but just promoting the business for people who should be interested in working in that business, right? So you start to see a pattern here, which is, so while all these different ways on how you can start an agency will create solutions, they also create something else. And that is data. And I know that's the last one here, but I don't want you to wait. So I will just write it here right away. So we focus on it. So data. Trust me, this will be interesting. Make sure to stick until the end. Now for automation, this one, I wouldn't suggest going with automation alone, just by itself, because automation from all of these is the one who's been around for longer, meaning it became more commoditized. Why? First of all, there are a lot of tools like Zapier, Make.com, and so many others. A lot of CRMs already have automation built in. And if you want to sell something, and as I said, that is not a service, otherwise you are competing against Fiverr or Upwork, which is something you probably don't want to do right now because it's so cheap. If you don't build an automation infrastructure, which is something that when you input a problem, it outputs an automated solution or a solution that automates stuff, then it's not worth it. And as I showed you, all of these examples had built-in automated procedures. So that's how you want to do it. Now, you can also automate AI, and this is what I like. So automating, for example, here, let's say that you have a meeting summary, right? This is a summary of the meeting, and after that, you want to send an email, okay? So you can send an email to all team members with a summary of that. You already have tools to do this, but stick with me. Now, also, this meeting will provide you with a transcript, right? And that transcript, and by the way, this applies also to voice AI. That's why I like it so much. That transcript, you can extract the data, use a GPT, and then you can automate CRM input. So you can update different fields, project managers, and based on the transcript, you can update tools with that information. You can also send notifications from here, as I showed you here, and then you can even trigger additional actions like in X amount of time, X should happen again, right? So this is just a very high level overview of an example on how you can start an AI automation agency. But I wouldn't do this just by itself. I would 100% focus on having one of these linked with automations because by default, they all automate, right? Now, if you want to be fixed on automation, just be sure that you have a very specific niche focused solution, right? Now, the moment that we've all been waiting for. And if you stick until this point, it means that you actually know how valuable data is. And that's why you waited till the end also to get that data for yourself, those insights. So it's all about data with AI because this is where they shine. They get so much information so quickly that us humans can't even compete. Now, if you gather all the data from a business, from the different core departments, what happens is that you can pretty much build a large language model based on all this information that then can tap into. And you don't need to build a large language model, by the way. This is just an example. But something else that you can also build, and this is my favorite part, is predictive AI. What happens when you have all the information? What happens when you have voice AI, text AI, content AI, everything automated, and you're getting all these different data points, and you store them, and you segment them the right way? You can start build predictive AI, predict how much revenue will the business generate based on the current inputs. Not just a formula, actually something that takes into consideration all the business inputs, not just numbers, all the different inputs, plus having access to the outside world where it can extract current information about the current events and make predictive AI very, very efficient and accurate. So if you want to learn exactly step by step how to build, like especially tap into building an offer around it, how to get attention, how to use the 3P framework, person, promise, process, how to lock in the pricing, how to launch the creator funnel, well, make sure to stick around because I will make a couple of videos around them. And you can also join for free the AI Agency Academy, link in the description. I hope you have an amazing one. Peace out.